I'm going to walk you through how a wildland firefighter who's actively on base camp, long days, fighting fires, is still able to eat Uncrustables and Gushers every day and was actually able to get a full body recomp in the process. So, let's dive in. First off, who am I? My name is Megan. I have been prior law enforcement, and then I also did prior military. Within my profession, I put on 30 pounds on the law enforcement side relatively quickly, just due to the hours. We were rotating every 2 weeks from days shift to nights. And what I found was it was really easy to put weight on. And many women in these professions are dealing with the exact same struggle, right? Their job is chaotic. They are having weird hours. They're being called in for work, and they're staying longer than they're supposed to for their shifts. So what keeps happening is, right, it's really hard to see weight loss. And I tried a lot of things, apps, ebooks, everything in between, and I could get the weight off, but I was losing a lot of my strength in the process. So what we do inside now is we've helped almost 1,000 women shift workers and military with their own fitness and health goals. And I've built a team of women who have worked in these professions before as well. So they understand what it looks like. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to give people a whole bunch of nonsense in order to get results. Okay. So let's go back here. So these are just some clients, all that fun stuff. So, we've seen everything in between high-ranking individuals in the military to women who are, brand new into EMS. And we've understood what their day-to-day looks like, and we've been able to come up with routines for them. So let's dive in. So I just wanted to show you her before and after pictures, right? So believe it or not, when she came in, she struggled. Her primary issue was belly fat, right? Like most women, we struggle with that. She's like, no matter what I do, I can't lose it, and all that fun stuff. So during the course of the time she's been working with us, I actually paired her with my firefighter coach, Casey, who understands, right, what the day looks like. And ultimately, just wanted to make sure, she had someone on her team and her side that understands her profession, her long hours, all that stuff, being called out, all that, the typical things you got to deal with as being on fire. And at the same time, too, understanding that, sometimes as firefighters, you guys are eating on shift together. So what happens? It makes it a lot more difficult. But one thing I do want to mention with this client, I got on a call with her the other day, and she was like, I'll play it for you. Hold on. I'll block her face because she said she was in her pajamas that day. So, but let's just play this part. Let me see. Hopefully, you guys can hear this. Okay.
There was this guy in there, this older man, and whoever he was on the phone with was giving him legitimate advice. So I didn't acknowledge him. I just listened to the advice that he was giving to whoever he was on the phone with. Well, I'm in line, still minding my own business. There's people in front of me. He's in front of me. There's an older lady behind me. And he turns around and he looks at me. He says, "Are you a firefighter?" Mind you, I have a Forest Service shield on my chest where it's supposed to be. And the words fire are across my back.
Nice and big.
And I'm in no makes pants because I just got off work. I said, "Yes, sir, I'm a firefighter." And he said, "Well, I just want you to know you're built like a tank."
So, just having that body composition, people start to recognize that, which is really nice. Let me see if I can find when we were talking earlier. Let's see. Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah, because your last ones are back in May, and when I looked at them then, your midsection has tightened up incredibly since you started. Yeah.
It looks really good.
It does.
It looks really good.
It looks
not to be ego about it, but
No, dude, it looks really good.
It's just really nice when she recognizes it. Other people are actually seeing her body composition changes, and that's usually how it starts. Other people start to see things before an individual, and what we did with her was nothing insane, nothing crazy. Most people think when they're stepping into a program somewhere like this, obviously we do have military background, law enforcement, all that stuff, that it's going to go from 0 to 100. But our job too is to meet clients where they're at, to mimic things based off of their schedule, their time, what equipment they have access to, can they work out on shift. Can they not? So all that stuff comes into play. So like we have to mold things around her specifically. And it's kind of cool to hear when you hear it from somebody else and when you see it for yourself how your body composition has changed drastically. So I just blocked her face out there because she was telling me the other day she was like, oh, I'm in my pajamas. I said, I'm in my pajamas too. My shirt's dirty right now. So you know what I mean? That's life, right? So you can really see like just on the side, it's a little bit harder because she didn't raise her arms there, but on the front, her stomach has 100% flattened out, and everything in between. And the cool part here is she actually, it's only a 5 pound difference because she even mentioned it in another part in the video. I think it was her grandmother or something. She said, man, it looks like you lost a lot of weight. And she's like, honestly, like I only lost 5 pounds. So that's what a true body recomp will look like. And I know if you're someone that's like trying to achieve that, you need to be like less focused on the scale. And that's something we really have to push for, women inside. Like, don't worry too much about what the number looks like. Worry about what your clothes are fitting, like how your body's performing, or other people noticing changes like that. And I'm going to walk you through how we kind of structured things for this client in a second. So believe it or not, like this client, she was only working out 3, sometimes maybe 4 days a week. I don't know, this one double went on there, but nothing crazy. Like this week she only got 2 workouts in, probably because she was on a fire. She had 3 workouts scheduled that week. So the biggest lever for us to pull with her was her nutrition. And it was pretty funny too, because I actually caught something with her, and this could be something you could be doing as well. So I'm gonna give you that little tip in a second. Let me see if I can find. Was it her goals? Let me find it. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes I don't know what I'm clicking on. All right, so one pattern I noticed with her, and I kind of called her out on it too. So she did a great job tracking her food. So for us, we were aiming for like at least 2,000 calories. So what happens with body recomp is people treat it like fat loss. And if you're trying to treat it like fat loss, it's good to still see weight loss, but if you're aiming for body recomp, it's going to be, you need to lose less than 20 pounds. If you need to lose more than 20 pounds, and I will say most people usually do and don't realize it, then that's fat loss. And then you can focus on body recomp after you already lose the weight, right? So I always tell people, aim for weight loss first. When you get to that point, then worry about muscle development and all that stuff. Because you're going to uncover a lot of muscle when you lose the weight regardless. But when you switch to body recomp, you have to eat more than you normally assume because you want to maintain as much muscle as possible. Your body, needs that fuel to like get to those tangible results. And what happens with most women, right, and they get stuck and they don't like, maybe they'll lose the weight and they don't like their body composition, then their next step should essentially be body recomp. But what happens, right, people get scared when the scale starts to go the opposite direction. They panic, they go cut back down, and then they never achieve the body composition they want. We want to avoid that, right? So when she first came in, we were eating, she's probably came in and she's probably eating like 1,500 calories. By the time she left, she's eating well over 2,000 on some days. She's eating upwards. I've caught her like almost at like 2,500 calories. But she was doing this pattern that I recognized when I got on a call with her. And that's like when she's not training, she was like eating less. And I said, stop doing that. You know what I mean? Like you're just making it harder for you to maximize your results a little bit more. And it's a common issue. Like you can see the pattern, right? Like this is a day she's probably like doing really hard stuff at work, training a little bit more. Then she was probably like off, or it was like a lazier day. You know what I mean? So I could catch these patterns with people pretty quick. And like I said, I called her out because I was like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you eating less on your non-training days? And she's like, oh, I felt like because I'm not working as hard. And I said, no, what you need to do is essentially understand that, on your days that you aren't training, like your body needs that fuel for recovery, which is going to help with muscle development, which is going to help repair, your muscle after you've been training on a long day or you've been out on fires for a long day. You need to treat that as like a chance to refuel your body because your body's using a lot of that when you are out on the field. And then when you're off, now your body's like, oh, I need more. And I was like, are you noticing you're more hungry when you do that? And she's like, yeah. I was like, well, okay, you don't need to cut like that. So just a little tip if you're someone that, is a firefighter or someone that does have like heavier days where you're doing more, it doesn't have to be like up down up down up down. You know what I mean? So just be advised. So biggest piece of the puzzle here. Let's see. Hold on. So biggest piece of the pizza puzzle. Can't talk ever. Biggest piece of the puzzle here is using a 3-part system. So, and what I'm going to talk about really quick is how you can implement this for yourself, right? So first and foremost, when she stepped in, we reviewed her nutrition, right? We found that she was not fueling enough for her profession, the way she's training. She's working out all the time. That's not the issue. It was body recomp just was never happening. So just understanding, understanding what needed to shift there, and which ultimately led to being like, we need you to eat more food. Now she's like, if I don't eat that like much, I feel like I'm starving. And I was like, good, because your metabolism's in the right place. Like, you're training the correct way, you're fueling your body, and then all that's going to do is just like continue to respond for you. So within that, we use the fat burner blueprint to maximize like results, because the biggest lever you can pull as someone who is in one of these professions, it's always nutrition. Nutrition, in my opinion, is going to be 90% of your results. So auditing what you're doing, pinpointing and figuring out your gaps, which typically is protein. Most women are eating only 60 to 80 grams of protein per day. Learning to just implement and maximize what you're already eating, so not changing anything extremely, right? When we got on with her, let me see if I can find another part of that video. This is going to be my tagline right here, so I'll let her say it for you.
Yeah.
Amber's body has been built by Gushers and Uncrustables. Okay?
Dude.
Body by Gushers at this point.
I'm telling you.
Kept me alive. It drives Casey crazy, but it has kept me alive.
It does. I mean, Uncrustables are my go-to. I literally yell at people all the time. Like, just eat them. Who cares? It's not going to be the end
I
of the
can
world.
grab it and go do something.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So a lot of times what most people are doing is, they're just, you guys are just overthinking nutrition. In my opinion, it's a much more simple way to do it. Sometimes you just got to make what works work. As coaches, like, obviously we want everyone to eat healthier, but because she is in such a demanding profession, teaching her how to use Uncrustables and Gushers and stuff like that, it's a game changer. And she had body recomp in the process. So in my eyes, it's like, what makes you happy? Cool. Keep doing that. Let's just make it better to get those results. And that's like that first lever we pull within that fat burner blueprint. And then the second one is like making things fit, right? So for you, if you're trying to achieve body recomp and you're like killing yourself, but working out 2 hours a day, 6 days a week on top of your shifts, like, you're just burning yourself out. Like, you can see with that client, we had her training less. Less is more with a lot of these professions. It's a hard pill to swallow, unfortunately. So, making sure because like when people come into plans like this too, like, what do they want? I want to get my money. Everyone always says, I want to get my money's worth out of things. And in my eyes, it's like, wouldn't it be more better for you to get your money's worth, like learning how to back up, like take a step back, because so many women in these professions are go, do more, and they're just seeing less results than ever. It's actually like so frustrating to see, because I have women come in and they're doing like group classes on top of Peloton, on top of like training on their own, and it's just like it doesn't look like they work out. You know what I mean? And if you're at that point where you just look like you don't work out, it's probably because you're just overtraining, under fueling, and all you're doing is just like, adding more stress to your body, which is not helping either. And then at the end of the day, like, it has to work into your life, right? As you can kind of tell, this client, like, she doesn't feel drained. She doesn't feel like she's overworked. She doesn't feel like this is going to be something impossible to maintain long term, because if we left her worse off than she came in, then that's not helping anyone. And that's typically what we see in a lot of programs. Like, people just get in, into a plan, and then they just feel overwhelmed and they're doing too much, and they're like, how am I going to sustain this? It just doesn't make any sense. That's where it has to kind of blend in with your life. Okay. So these are the 3 systems that ultimately come together, and you can't have one without the other. Like, some people want, can I just do one? No, you can't, because if you don't have all 3, you'll never learn how to make everything blend in. And that's a big issue, right? That's why I stopped just doing nutrition, because if people weren't seeing the body changes they wanted, I was like, well, I don't have control of your plan, and I don't know what your life looks like. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you how to eat, what to eat. And that's where everyone kind of falls short. They hire a nutritionist, then they wonder why they're not getting results, because the nutritionist doesn't know how they're training. They hire an in-person trainer. In-person trainer doesn't give them anything with nutrition. Then they also have to make it work for their life, because now they have to show up in person to usually all of those, which never works out. All right, so if this is something that interests you, again, like, this is a program that I will say women, shift workers, and military join after they tried it all. So if you're ready to invest in something like this, you want somebody to take the reins, take away all the guesswork, this is the place to have it and do it. You can check out my Instagram. You can go, if you want to just keep doing things on your own, no worries. I'm going to keep throwing a lot of this information out there on my page so that we guys have access to it. This is our business line. Just please text that number. Don't call it, because it comes up on my phone as like spam. I don't know why, but it just does. So just text that number. And yeah, like, that's pretty much the run through and everything. And if you have any questions, you can drop it below this video. I will answer anything you guys need.